I want to be the guy that welcomes new technology, and I want to play with it. That's what I want to do forever. Like that. This is my thing. Like I want to travel the world, have fun, and play with new technology, so that way I can see how to make it help businesses and help people. That's what I get a kick out of.
Hey, I'm Armando Leduc, producer, film actor, and owner of Leduc Entertainment. I've chosen a life off the beaten path and wanted to find others that are doing the same. Spaghetti on the Wall is a show based on all of the years that I've thrown spaghetti on the wall and nurtured what stuck. We will share fun stories, ideas, tips, tricks, and more. Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Spaghetti on the Wall. I really appreciate the two people that listen to this podcast, my mother and my wife. So really do it. Actually, they don't even listen to it.
No, they just check it off.
They click the like button. I heard your latest podcast. They didn't. They definitely didn't. Guys, we have Carlos Vazquez today, straight out of Miami. Y'all, this guy's got some things going on that really, really cool. So glad I got him on. I'm always interested in how other marketing people are doing their marketing. So I'm happy you have agreed to be on the show. And you know, this show is a spaghetti on the wall, so it's all over the place. I got lawyers, I've got dancers, I've got actors, singers, the whole nine. So I'm happy that you're here. And let's jump in, man. The name of your company is Miami Marketer?
Yes, sir. Miami Marketer, and that's me.
And that's you.
the Miami Marketer.
Very cool. And so, hold on, let me turn this off because this is...
That's your wife and your mom listening in live and telling you that, hey, I'm listening to you. That's what it is.
They're definitely not. I can't get them to support my stuff right now anymore. They're just like, you're doing way too much stuff. I can't keep up. So I don't blame them. Whatever.
I know the feeling. Spaghetti on the wall.
Yeah. So you, you know what? I'm not even going to try to attempt to explain what it is that you do. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you do?
All right. Listen, so there's a wall, and I grab like wet spaghetti noodles, and I throw it on there, and then whatever sticks, I figured, you know what, let me focus on that one. So what is I do? I run a marketing agency, and we specialize in automating all of those repetitive tasks that are required to get your business out there and to capture leads, so that way you can try to close more deals. And at the end of the day, all you got to do is keep feeding the machine, and it'll just keep spitting out leads and sales. And that's it. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it without getting all into the weeds. I find creative ways to connect technology of today with a real world use, so that way it's not just a bunch of shiny objects. It's actually something that we can use and make sense of it. So that's it in a nutshell. But I build the systems that attract customers, capture their info, and then close the deal.
How did you find this method?
Okay, so I'm a marketer. I'm the type of person that I find different ways to capture people's attention. When I was in high school, I was a musician. I played drums, so I was always used to attention. And so I always liked that. And if I ever wanted more people to attend our concerts or whatever, I always kind of just try to get the word out to as many people as possible. So marketing was always part of like my thing. Entrepreneurship actually came to me after Hurricane Andrew. I was in Miami Beach, and I was, back in the day, my parents let me out, and I used to play outside. We didn't have any technology back then like that. And while we had no power, everything was all like jacked up, I was able to walk to the beach because I was like 5 minutes from walking distance from the beach, and all these coconuts were on the floor. And I just saw a shopping cart. I just loaded that shopping cart up, and then I just pushed that shopping cart full of coconuts. And one lady said, "Oh, yeah, hey, how much? ¿Cuánto son los coco?" And I was like, $5. So she went inside. She came out with a $20 bill. And then she said, "Mira, te doy 20. I'll give you 20. You give me 5. So buy 4, get 1 free," basically. And I was like, absolutely. So right there, I was already intrigued with entrepreneurship. I was excited about making money, and I sold all the coconuts by the same, like within 24 hours, basically. And that's it. Business was my thing. Entrepreneurship, I always wanted to find different ways to serve some type of need. So naturally throughout the years, I always try to find different businesses to start. I got involved with like computers. I geeked out with computer stuff, learned how to make websites. And then fast forward to like 1999, I joined the Marines to try to get into computers, but apparently with the Marine Corps, my scores weren't high enough, so they thought I wasn't good with computers. The joke was on them, because eventually I ended up becoming a computer guy anyways, because the higher ups realized that my talents, they could have used my talents there. All right, so now I finished my first tour of duty, and I volunteered to do a website for a morning show here in Miami. It's called El Vacilón de la Mañana, which was basically a show that was from 6 to 10 on a station called 95.7, El Sol 95. Now it's a whole different number. And one of the things that they were known for were prank calling people. So what ended up happening was that they ended up prank calling a bunch of different political figures. And one of the calls that, we were able to capture attention was a prank call to the late dictator, Hugo Chavez. And Hugo Chavez was good friends with the late dictator Fidel Castro. Basically, he was like the mentee, and Fidel was the mentor. And we managed to use Hugo's voice. We had like a little soundboard. We pressed buttons and made it seem like he was on the other line, like a three-way conference call. And we ended up getting up all the way to Fidel Castro. And at that moment, that's it. We knew that something big happened here in Miami. Cubans are like one of the largest Hispanic populations out here. So anything you could do to attack the Cuban regime, the Castro regime, was considered a win all the time. So the news went all over the place. And this is where I built my first funnel. A funnel basically is, if you wanted to hear the call, because the news was on BBC, CNN, Fox News, it was all over the place. And if you wanted to hear the call, you had to go to the website. And if I set up a system where you put your name and email address into the system, or just your email, it's just your email at the time, and you get a link to hear the call. And right then and there, boom, I ended up building this email list of over 250,000 email addresses. And I knew that I'm a marketer, so now I have all these emails I can do something with. And the station said, Carlos, we want to actually hire you now to manage these campaigns, build these email lists, and help put ads into the actual email, so that way we can monetize it. And then I was getting paid. They let me play with all the expensive software at the time. I ended up building campaigns for like Coca-Cola, Universal, Disney, and I was ahead of the curve, because this technology was only reserved for people that were certified, and there were not that many. But I was self-taught. I already had all this history with technology. 2015 came, the technology became cheap, so that small businesses were able to do the same things like Amazon was able to do. And I already had all this experience, and that's where the software was cheap now. And I went off on my own completely full-time. I always had my business part-time, but that was the moment I was able to go full-time, and I was making 4 times what I was actually making working anywhere else. And that's what I do now. So I build these systems now. I teach how to do these systems. I consult, I coach, and I just have fun with it. I just try to find different things to automate, so that way we can monetize the things that we love to do, or things that we hate doing. So that's it. I mean, that was pretty long, but that's how I got into it.
That's cool, man. So do you guys have a specific niche that you guys usually work with, or is it all across the board?
No, and as of right now, that's one of my I guess it's one of my drawbacks, because I get people from all kinds of industries coming to me, and funnels, the systems that I build, they work for any industry. It's really just, if you understand this software, Carlos, can you build it for me? And then I build it for them. The strategies all work for most businesses. It's just a matter of just making sure that you have the right component that's relevant to that business. But they all followed a very close infrastructure. So I don't focus on one specific niche, because I haven't needed to, basically. But that it's bad and it's good, right? Because you don't specialize in a specific niche. But if there's anything I've learned throughout the years, is that if you're not working at one thing every day, you're gonna not know what the latest technology is, and you're not gonna know what's working. So I'd rather just keep doing whatever's working and just keep pushing forward from there. But they all follow the same fundamentals and principles. It's the software and the strategies that kind of just get updated.
How do you stay ahead of trends?
I'm an early adopter. Whenever I do suffer from shiny object syndrome, but I've learned how to monetize that, right? So one of the things that I'm known for is how do you combine something that just came out and merge it with something that we actually need to do, either for business or for personal use. So since I've been able to work in different industries, I've been able to kind of just get exposed to a bunch of different needs. So whenever something new comes out, even if it's like for free or for like a lifetime deal, I'll jump in there, I'll buy it, and then I'll apply it and play with it, test it, and then teach it to other people. Or, hey, I'll show you how to do this, or you hire me and I'll just build it up for you. So that way you don't have to worry about it. And a lot of the people that I work with, they're early adopters, but since they don't know how to do it themselves, they don't want to learn how to do it. But they're flexible to understand that, hey, this tech is new, but you want to be one of the first people in your industry to try it out. And it's easy for me to work with people like that because they understand that either this is going to help you tremendously before everyone else jumps on it, or it's just not going to work and we just move on to the next thing. So that's how I stay ahead of it. I'm always early adopting and then trying to combine it with some type of real world use instead of just it being a cool thing.
Are you an early adopter of crypto? You a crypto guy?
Absolutely. But I'm not as early as I would, as I should have been. I didn't get into crypto in 2009, but I did get deeper into it in 2014, and I learned how to mine my own token. At the time, it was Dogecoin, and I did get involved. I bought, I mined, I joined mining pools, and it paid off. It paid off 2 years ago. Yeah, it paid off 2 years ago. So it was a cool little investment, and it wasn't an investment. It was like not even a gamble. It was just more like, I had the funds there. Let me try it out, and I learned how to mine. It wasn't a big deal. So yes, I even started a whole little meetup group called the Crypto Insiders to share the stuff that I've learned, and I bring other people to kind of just share their stuff.
That's cool, man. So it's a whole thing, man, because like ClickFunnels and I mean, what's ClickFunnels' main competitor right now? I mean, there's several out there, right?
Yeah, there's several. Okay, so that's a good question because that was actually one of the softwares that really brought me a lot of business. But the software that I use, it's called High Level, and High Level replaces the need for what ClickFunnels does. ClickFunnels does do things better than High Level, but the thing is that High Level is a good enough product and it's getting better as it goes. And it's more about the end results versus all of the bells and whistles of one particular feature. So I would say High Level is taking a lot of ClickFunnels market share. The other people like Unbounce, there's a bunch of other ones there. They're tailoring to a different industry. ClickFunnels is tailoring to like small businesses, business growth, and entrepreneurs that want to move fast. These other guys are just focusing on like the directors of marketing, the VPs of marketing, so like more corporate. And they're okay, but they don't. Those, I used to be a director of marketing, so they're not taught the same things that people like Russell is teaching, Russell Brunson. So that's why he appeals, and ClickFunnels appeals to them. But now High Level is taking all the people like me, like agency guys, that can spread the word to other people. So yeah, that's who I would say is the competitor. That's who's taking their market share because it does a lot more for the same price.
And they're creating. So what are the capabilities? Landing pages, automation, emails. Is it also a CRM?
It does a bunch of stuff, man. So full disclosure, I'm a Go High Level partner also. So I took the time out to learn the software. And the only reason I become partners or apply to be a partner is so that when someone finds me, it's the same strategy I use for ClickFunnels. When somebody finds me, they're likely finding me because of a software, and they want to work with someone that they know knows the software. So the whole partnership program, it helps me like put them at ease, and it helps me earn that credibility. And High Level does offer not only landing pages, but it also offers the calendar booking system It offers the CRM as well. You can send texting, email messages. You can connect it with your Instagram direct messages. You can connect it with your LinkedIn account. You can connect it with your Facebook page, Google My Business. There's so many different things that a business needs from this one platform that you don't have to go. One of the problems that I've learned throughout the years is that people, they have to go to this software, then that software, then this software, to that software, so that way they can complete, things that are important for the business. Even if it's a communication aspect, clients, not every client wants to talk to you through email. Not every client wants to talk to you on Facebook or Instagram. High Level kind of just streamlines it for you, so that way you don't have to go to a bunch of different places, but you're still communicating at that customer or that lead's preferred mode of communication. You can send them to the calendar, book an appointment, send them to the landing pages. You can even host your website with it. So for $97, which is the same exact price as ClickFunnels, you're getting all of these features in one without spending all that money and then getting consistently upsold for something else. I'm tired of all that stuff. I'm the agency. I'm tired of all these upsells. Don't try to teach me any more things. Just give me what I need and let's go. And High Level just caters to people like me. We know what we need. Just give us the functionality and the capabilities of doing it. So that's that. And that's not. There's still a ton of other stuff that it does, but that's just the general idea. It basically covers maybe like 5 to 7 different pieces of software that's usually used in a business into one payment, and they're constantly updating every day or every other day. There's a new update, so it's like it's exciting stuff.
Does it have a payment capability? Like you can pay through High Level?
You can connect it with Stripe and PayPal.
Really? Very cool.
Yeah.
Can you send out
one-click
brochures?
upsells, downsells? What's that?
Can you send out brochures?
So you can. It has a Zapier API integration, so you can send data to like a brochure. Are you talking about print brochures or like
digital?
Like just. Oh yeah, man, shoot. It's email.
We use
email,
Honeybook,
text.
and that's the problem, right? Like it's like you were talking about. You got to use this, and you got to use this, and you got to use this, right? Like I use Asana for all of my tasks, right?
Projects. Yeah.
Then I use Loomly for my social media. I use Honeybook to send out brochures and proposals. I use Keep as my CRM.
Oh my God! Yeah, you definitely would benefit from that. Now, I simplified the proposals. I used to use it separate. I kind of still use it once in a while, but you're able to create pages that have dynamic tags with High Level, so that way it can have the proposal feel. Because most of my proposals, they're very close. They're very similar. It's either proposal template A, B, C, or D, right? And when somebody visits the page, High Level will automatically put their name there, their business name in there. So it gives it that proposal feel. You can even put a little chat bubble in the bottom right. And that's a workaround. Proposal softwares, they have their place. Like you want to be able to see how many times they're opening the proposal. If they click on accept, to capture the signature. So proposals software is good. I use something else for that whenever that's relevant. But they all end up coming back to High Level because I send them a link to make the payment. They're taken to a sales funnel, and it has a subscription feature for different products or a one-time payment. So it does. You won't need Keep anymore. That's for sure. It does have a social media scheduler: Instagram, Facebook page, not personal, LinkedIn, and Google My Business and Twitter. So and it's expanding from there. So you can automate not only the postings, but if somebody messages you, you can actually automate the follow-up like a bot, like a chat bot as well, right in High Level.
Interesting.
Damn, man, this became like a little High Level commercial. Not even work for them. Hey, if you use my affiliate link.
Right, I'm just trying to get educated. So the proposal software, it's not really that robust, you're saying. But they're getting there, I guess. CRM, it does.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but it's not like, all right. So yeah, it's not robust. It's like there's a workaround to fulfill what normally a proposal would do, but it doesn't track, it doesn't track Well, I guess it kind of does. You could see when they visited the page. You can see. You can't put custom info like if it's a separate timeline or a separate like process. Then no, if that's unique. But if you keep it general, like week 1, week 2, week 3, that's general, and you can reuse that for just about anyone. And when they click on the button that says "click here to get started," it takes them to a sales funnel where it captures the payment and all that good stuff, and you can have the automations kind of keep pushing people forward, or after the purchase is done, Keep does it. You can send the data to your Asana, so that way the process begins.
Does High Level allow you to post reels on social media?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I use a separate software for that kind of stuff, but it's only a matter of time. So what they do, like, they're the type of people that, and I'm talking about the developers, and like and I love it. And for me, it's perfect. They're the type of people, like, they don't wait till everything is done to release. They keep releasing bits and pieces for the software. So that way you can use it, and they announce, they show you their roadmap, and then as users, we submit ideas, and then they let you know, hey, we're working on this. And then once it's ready, they'll move it to complete it, and or in beta, go to the beta side so you can test it out. And if we receive enough positive feedback, we'll put it as final. So I feel like stories and reels are coming real soon. It's only a matter of time.
That's good. If that can happen, man, simplify a bunch of stuff.
Oh, it's happening, man. I feel real good. They came out with blogging in there already, so you don't even need WordPress. But if you want WordPress, they can incorporate WordPress into your account. So it's just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I know. I got some friends that are in like the web design business, and I'm like, guys, they're like pushing SEO and stuff. And I guess there's room for it, but it's like, man, it is not sitting around and waiting for people to come to you is just not a good method, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like
well, you know what you're doing is great. So you're creating SEO content already, and it's bringing you business organically already. So you're kind of taking care of multiple objectives by doing what you're doing with the content creation. So yeah, SEO is not going to happen overnight. However, I wouldn't be surprised in a matter of maybe 3 to 4 months, you're going to start looking at your traffic, and you're going to see that when you're going to see search phrases bringing you traffic to specific pieces of content. So if anything, if I were to update something that you're doing, is just if you're not doing it, you probably are, use kind of like a tool to let you see what kind of questions people are Googling. So that way you can create content around that. And that gives you the keywords to make sure you throw into your content already, and you're good to go. There's actually a cool little trick that I don't know if you're doing it, but like this right now, we're doing a video interview. This serves as a podcast. It serves as a video. And if you pull the transcription, that serves as a blog article. If you throw in the right keywords in there, you're covering 3 pieces of SEO related content without having to, hire any SEO people, honestly. And this will do all that work.
I am definitely not doing that. I've been using TikTok as a search engine, actually, because TikTok is now, a search engine in itself. So they're, the hashtags.
I've not done that. It's really, really cool. I'll have to check it out.
Oh, dude, it's so TikTok's setting the bar for everybody. You know what I mean? So, whatever TikTok
don't tell me that. Oh, God.
It is, though. It's the truth. You look, Instagram followed suit. Facebook followed suit. YouTube followed suit.
Right.
Everybody's following what TikTok is doing. I mean, there's a new social media app that I'm starting to post on. It's called Lomotif. It's out of India. I know that China, India banned TikTok. And so I guess Lomotif is their answer to it.
Lomotif.
Yeah. Lomotif. Yeah. I don't know if it's the future or not, but me, I'm just like, if it's a platform, I'm gonna be on it. Just because you never know who's gonna see that piece of content. That quick story. One of my referral partners, I was posting content. He saw one of my videos. Hey, man, can you come do some videos for me? Yes, I can. Went out, started doing videos for him. Then he started referring me out, turned into a $500,000 business.
Wow.
Off
That's
of one
amazing,
video.
man. What you're doing with low motif is exactly what I do with early technology, being an early adopter. It's just that you have to find whatever's relevant for you, low motif, and that whoever jumped on TikTok before, they're benefiting from that.
Oh,
do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
Vines? Man, I had friends of I could have been a Vine celebrity, you know?
Yeah.
But I was an idiot. I was like, oh, come on, 6 seconds, get out of here. I'm not gonna waste my time with this. And that was another reminder to be open-minded, not just kind of just brush anything off just because you think it's stupid. TikTok to me, honestly, was stupid. Now I'm like, I'm stupid again. It's like I keep making the same mistake. So that's why I want to be the guy that welcomes new technology, and I want to play with it. That's what I want to do forever. Like that. This is my thing. Like I want to travel the world, have fun, and play with new technology, so that way I can see how to make it help businesses and help people. That's what I get a kick out of. So that's exactly what you're doing with social media platforms. This is exactly what I do. So yeah, we're like very similar.
Heard. Yeah. So let me ask you about some pain points that you have personally in your business. And it might be the same in my business as far as like education. What are you seeing that's stopping people from making the decision to go with you? Like, what are some objections that you're seeing?
Well, so it's a combination. I get a nice healthy mix of, like, I'll get agencies as clients. A lot of those people, they want to white label my services. So I don't really have any problems with that. With them, maybe people think I'm a freelancer, right? Because I'm the Miami marketer. So one of the drawbacks of that is, since I'm the brand, people have some level of expectation that they're going to have direct access to me. And unfortunately, since I'm running the business, I have to be involved with so many different things at once, which is why I have a team. So one of my pain points is, number one, I'm never going to be able to replicate myself, but how can I create something that delivers my high caliber, I can't even talk today, high caliber level of work without making anyone feel like they're being thrown to the side? So that's been one of my challenges. And I mean, I have ideas on what I can probably do. I don't think I can ever overcome that, honestly. There's just no way I can ever overcome that. The only thing I can do is just create different revenue streams, so that way I don't have to worry about finding those clients. And then if I do take on a client, just charge a big ticket item price, so that way it makes it easier for me not to take on other things, so that way I can go ahead and do that work. So that's like one big pain point of mine. And the other, I guess another pain point of mine is just as a business owner, it's my business, right? It's my baby. No one else is going to make my baby grow with enthusiasm like I will make it grow. Mm-hmm. So I can't expect anyone on my team to be as motivated or as engaged as me. So I always feel like, damn it, man, don't you want to learn this? Don't you want to do, like, it's not their fault. They have their lives. They have everything that's going on for them. So like, when I get an idea, I'm crazy. I wake up at 3:00 in the morning and I was like, oh my God, I just discovered something like all this early tech. But no one else will share that enthusiasm with me, especially if it's something that's going to grow my business, because my team is great, but they have their lives, they have their things. And I have to be courteous to them and still kind of just let them clock out, which I'm not a dictator or anything, but I have to get over myself. No one cares more for my business like me. That's even my wife doesn't care for my business like more than me. So maybe not even my mom. Maybe my mom.
They don't. Nobody cares, man. They really don't care. So as marketers, I feel like we also have to jump into the coaching and consultant seat as just de facto, because a lot of times they don't. I think as a marketing professional, you need to understand their business sometimes better than they do in order to create the content. Well, for us, in order to create the content that resonates, that is specific to them, making sure that the messaging and branding and aesthetic and all of that is right. And so it's like, man, well, before we can even get into the content marketing, we got to go into the development phase, right? And so now we're in the trenches with them, and I'm like, man, I can't even start working on your content because you don't even know what your business is. Like, you don't even know what your processes and procedures are operationally, that even if I did bring you, 30 people a day that's coming through your door, you can't handle it. Like, you can't handle the influx of business. And then you're like, well, Armando, this, go ahead and turn it off because it's like, it's not working, right? So now I'm like, all right, let's hop into, consultant hat and figure out what it is that, how can we get your business moving? Do you find that you have to do the same thing?
Sometimes. So there's two types of like relationships that I have. The ones that I actually get involved with that side. So all right. So let me talk about the most common one, and that is the set them up and they're off on their own, right? Because most of the time they don't have the budgets to keep someone like me on board. But if I can build them a system and show them how to work it, they run it themselves. And then hopefully by the time that they generate some cash flow, they can bring someone like me on board. So I set them up and go. So there's really nothing else to it. I set them up, I give them guidance, and I do have a group coaching program where I'll just look at their stuff and give them guidance, but they're still responsible for implementing it. If they want us to implement, then there's a whole different package for that. But it's not really like, well, I built you a system to generate leads. Now we got to figure out, hey, that's not a product. I don't want to get involved with that because that's something I'm not a business coach like that. I'm more like, once I get you the leads, I'm going to get you more and you need to close them. If you don't know how to do that, you need to find a sales coach to do that. And I got a perfect guy, and his name is Will Dukes, but I don't know if you know, but he's a great guy. And so that's one type of client. The second type of client is more like a revenue share client, because now I have an investment into the company. I have skin in the game. If I know that they can close deals, but they don't have the resources to deal with the marketing, like they need someone like me, I'll tell them to cover my base cost to cover my team and whatever software, so that way I'm not coming out of pocket. But basically my pay would be the rev share agreement. And if it's my pay, I'm going to put a lot more energy and effort. And as long as you don't tie my hands, I'm able to kind of just go with it and just make some money with that. But that only happens after I've seen that they can close deals. They just don't know how to really create a predictable stream of revenue, or not revenue, but a predictable stream of leads and closing the deals and tracking it. So I basically become like their marketing, the remote marketing department or marketing director. Here's my cat. Like she's my boss. So she's checking me out, making sure that I'm doing the right thing here.
That's cool, man. How did you come up with this sort of payment agreement? Well,
because there's just times where clients don't care about all the details. They don't care about I just need the sales. I just need the revenue. And I'm not going to be motivated to make you money the way you want me to be unless I'm making money, right? So I feel like it's a mutually beneficial agreement. And I had this one client, I mean, we're still working together at this point, where I built their system and I set them up and they had to run everything. But the marketer that was running it, they were just 9 to 5, clock in, clock out. They didn't really care about the results, and to find someone to take over, it was just not worth it. So basically, and I don't know if their arrangement was they were going to give them a commission for whatever, but when they were having a hard time with them, and I think they ended up finding another job, like the marketer, they told me, hey, we're in a situation. I said, you know what? I see you're generating sales, but you need someone to kind of just man this thing. Why don't we do this? Basically, pay my agency less than you were paying that person, but what would you be open to a revenue share where we'll agree to this amount, and then I'm responsible for this and this and whatever. And they're like, oh my God, that's perfect. I wish I would have thought about that before. And I just took a chance on that, and it worked out just fine. So it's like, I prefer those deals because I get to have fun with it. And when they win, I win. And it's a great relationship. When people don't have skin in the game, the relationship is completely different. It's more like they're just going to do what they need to do as agreed and move on. But if you really want someone to wake up in the middle of the night while they're driving, get an idea, they need to have a reason why they want to do that. And that was one of the things that I stumbled upon, and I was open enough, and the client was open enough too. And to my surprise, it worked out, and I've done it with several people. So it was a great idea. And I actually prefer those more than anything, as long as I know what the product sells and they actually have a good sales process. It can't just be someone that just starts a business, because that's too much risk on my part. I'm going to waste a lot of time. If I get you all the leads, you can't close them. What's the deal?
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this. How do you structure that revenue stream? Is it different per client? Is it based on the things that are coming in through the stuff that you've created? I mean, how do you separate?
Well, there's my base costs, like, because I'll use my software, my high level, my tools, right? So I try to give it a piece of. I charge them a piece of whatever of my cost, and that includes my team, because what sucks about being an entrepreneur, running a business, is you can't pay your team off of commission. You have to pay them a steady paycheck. So I pay my team no matter what happens in sales. So if I can have them help me cover costs for my team, that takes a strain off of my shoulders, so that way I can focus on the creative stuff that makes the money. My team is the one that implements it. So I'm the one that thinks outside the box. So that's the first part. The second part is, depending on how much work has to go into it from my part, and how the volume of the sale, or the price of the sale, I'll ask, we'll negotiate a percentage that we're both comfortable with. And then we put it into an agreement, and we go from there. Whenever it's at the beginning, I want to get my foot in the door. So I usually will give them a lower start, just to kind of just let them feel like, okay, you know what, let's see how it is before, and we'll set a deadline. We'll do like a 6-month deadline, so that way we can kind of just see what the relationship is. And then after that, we'll determine, okay, what should we do? Do you want me to stick around? All right, let's do it for this percentage. Do you feel comfortable? Then we'll negotiate again, and then we'll just do it like every 6 months to see how the relationship it's going, and we go from there. So that's how I structure it. It really comes down to how much work needs to go into it. But I don't want to work, every second of the day. I want to make sure that I can put in a bulk of the work up front, because eventually I want it to kind of just pay for itself down the road. That's really what I ultimately want to do. And you get my best work when I get to be creative like that. I mean, I'll give you everything up front, but after that, if it's working, I'm not going to sit here and work the same amount of time, because then my system doesn't work.
Right.
There's no way it's going to be scalable.
Because the automations are where the scalability comes from, because it's all, it's all the same. How do you know, do you guys go back and analyze like the open rates for these, for these text messages and emails, and, going, all right, this email may not be written properly. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not hitting, I mean, obviously you guys have had years to test what works, what doesn't, you know what I mean? But how do you know? And that's a problem with not having a niche, right? Like, everybody's sort of
Not
different,
really.
but does it matter?
Not really. No, yeah, it doesn't really matter. So I'm very data driven whenever I make my decisions, which is why whenever I do a rev share, I look at the data. How many sales are you generating? What's the price? What's the cost? So that way, where is that person? And where's that business? And it can even afford to have me on board? Is it worth anyone's time? Same thing goes with analyzing and optimizing anything we build. So anything that a potential visitor or potential audience member engages with should have something to allow us to track it, right? And I don't want to guess what works. I want to see what's working and what's not working. So like when you put trackers on every piece of a funnel, like a landing page, an email, an ad, whatever, you want to go ahead and make decisions on the ones that where you see like a major drop, right? And for example, like a landing page, I have these trackers that allow that it'll record the mouse movements on the site, and it'll record how the person scrolls down and interacts with the actual page. And then from that point on, since I have been doing this for a while, if I see the mouse going to like, let's say the top right area a lot, I want to make sure that what they're clicking on is something that is likely to take them to a place I want them to go. So instead of making all of these changes after I come up with a theory, I'll do one. It's like a science experiment. There's a control and then there's a variable. Okay, the original version is they're moving their mouse to the right, but they're not clicking on this button. The variable is going to be, okay, I'm going to change that button to put an image here, and that image is going to say this, whatever. And then I look at the data. If the number improves with the variable, I remove the control, and now I leave the variable. Same thing with emails. If I see this subject line is opening versus the other one, okay, cool. The open rates are good, but no click-through rate. All right. What if I throw a button on this one and leave the other one alone? So that's how I do it. It has nothing to do with niche. So that way you don't have to worry about always remembering the niche. It's every market, a customer has a pain point, a customer wants a solution, and they want it now. Okay, what's the pain point that the industry needs to solve? What is a solution that can help them out? And how fast can you get them the results? So you tweak it for that, look at the data, and then just use that as like the fundamental, and then make adjustments based off of that. So no, I don't. Niches do help because, you know, you can communicate to your client better. But I have not been in a situation. Well, you know what? Mentira. No, you know what? Well, okay, I've had one weird. It was for a book. Like they wrote this children's book, and it was just such a unique thing. You're targeting. The book is for kids, but the parents buy. It was just like it was very unique. But I even had this one funeral home client. Like there's literally, it's unfortunate, but it's a business, right? There's a pain point, there's a solution they're trying to solve, and there's a time they need to solve it. So the same principles apply. It's just making sure that you're using the right stuff. And if you're going to modify anything, modify things that are that you're seeing people interact with. So that way you're not just changing a bunch of things and crossing your fingers. Just use the data, and just it's a process. It's a slow, steady process, and there's nothing that happens overnight. So yeah,
I love it, man.
Did I answer your question?
Dude, I love it. Tell them where they can find you.
Miami. Your mom and your wife, is that?
That's right, yes.
Now my mom's going to listen to this. So mom, so MiamiMarketer.com, Instagram @MiamiMarketer. And we'll just keep it like that. There's those two spots are the spots I always go to. I'm always checking out reels. I'm definitely on LinkedIn. I'm more on LinkedIn now.
Yeah.
And you can find me there.
Yeah, right on, man. Carlos Vazquez. Y'all hit him up if you guys are looking to get your business automated. He's got the tools. And he practices what he preaches, which is great. I love a marketing company that does what they say that you should be doing with your company.
Yeah, you went to my stuff.
Dude.
You went through my funnel. That's right.
Yeah, I did. I went through your funnel. I was like, man, this is like legit. Like, I'm never going to not make this meeting. Like, he has set it up. So I'm like, I cannot miss this meeting. There's no excuses at this point, you know? So
my show up rate is like 90%.
Yeah, dude. It is.
I have a pretty good show up rate.
It is insane. I love it, man. I love what you're doing. Y'all follow Carlos. He's the man. And that's it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Spaghetti on the Wall brought to you by Leduc Entertainment. For all of your social media marketing needs, digital marketing, We're not doing the automations, but if you want the automations, hit up Carlos. Social media, make a video. We'll see y'all next time on Spaghetti on the Wall, ladies and gentlemen.